The girl in this dynamic film has a very recognizable name. Many people will immediately think of Gone with the Wind, but that's not the case here. In the first scene of the film, this Scarlet appears as a lady of the night. But something goes wrong, and instead of the services appropriate to the moment, the client suddenly gets very painful sensations exactly where he expected to get pleasure, and the girl is helped by her partner, and the two of them in no time deal with the armed lover of strawberries, throwing him out of the window. Here the story pauses and is accompanied by ironic voiceover comments from Scarlet herself, who calls herself a typical London hustler. The film rewinds and the girl says that she got a little carried away and that she should tell the story all over again. The action moves to a London nightclub where she takes turns introducing the audience to her mates, with whom she is engaged in petty theft. A handsome man sitting in the distance observes Scarlet and her friend closely and sees that they are quite skillfully stealing from the audience on the dance floor. He catches the thief red-handed. At first frightened, she calms down when she finds out that the man is not a policeman and advises him to leave the club before her jealous mate Adam interferes in their pleasant conversation. But the shrewd man is not afraid, and in no time he takes down the corrupt security guards. Scarlet and her accomplices leave the club in a hurry. The girl gives a brief characterization of the new acquaintances in a freeze frame. Rob, Danny, and Baraka are ex-military, and each has been in trouble more than once. Soon, the persistent stranger, having received information about the girl he likes, arrives at Auntie Nellie's fight club. While the girl is training with her rival, he talks to her casually and makes an unequivocal proposal, just as he did that first night in the bar. But the girl almost regretfully refuses him, for she owes everything to Adam. Scarlet stands up for her sick friend Michelle, who is beaten up by Adam, demanding that she go on a thieving shift. As a result, the battered girl is taken to the clinic, where an alarmed Rob rushes in. He takes her into his care, promising her and her friends protection. Adam gets what he deserves, and Rob and Scarlet spend an unforgettable night together. Rob talks about the dead older brother who saved him from death, in whose memory he wears a broken watch. The lovers become very close, and the girl is truly happy for the first time in her life. One day, Rob's team is attacked by armed bandits but is defeated. The man saves his beloved, covering her with himself, and Scarlet admires her tough guy. She has long since realized that he is a real gangster, no match for a small fish like Adam. Rob tells his friend about the diamond trade and the upcoming big deal, after which he can retire. The pair go to see Charlie, who is at the head of the business. Even Scarlet is shocked by the brutal methods of this not young woman. Charlie personally cuts out the tongue of one of the bandits who attacked Rob to steal a precious diamond. After a successfully completed deal, Rob's friends give Scarlet the nickname Duchess for her courage and ability to keep herself dignified. Before leaving London, the girl decides to finally say goodbye to her past and visit her father in prison, who brutally beat her and her mother. The girl hopes that captivity has changed him, but the unrepentant father gives his adult daughter cynical advice, and she leaves him in anger. Rob buys a luxury villa in Tenerife. The mates are met by local partners, who suspect that a traitor from among their own has tried to sabotage the big deal. The luxurious life in a tropical resort is interspersed with routine gangster work. On one serene day, Rob and his partners get into a shootout, and Scarlet fights off an attack by Marco, one of Rob's partners, who wants to abuse Maria, a maid. Rob is furious and now faces a tough clash with the dead man's brother. The remains of the unsuccessful macho man are fed to a pet tigress, and Rob's company hurries to leave the island, having packed everything they need. But they don't even manage to leave the house, because Brother Marco and his thugs block the way, surrounding the fugitives. The forces are clearly unequal. Rob and his friends are held at gunpoint, intending to destroy them all. Only Danny manages to escape unnoticed. Rob tries to distract the bandits' attention. He asks for a drink, and chatting casually, suddenly kills Santiago, who has come to avenge his brother. Scarlet tries to escape, but is caught by the newly arrived bandits, led by Tom, Rob's business partner. The previous day, Rob and Tom had discussed the situation on the phone, and Tom assured him that he was entirely on his side. Now it's clear that Marco was deliberately sent to take Scarlet's life. It seems that Tom has been wanting to get rid of Rob for years, wanting to take his place in the lucrative business. Tom taunts his partner and threatens to kill him. After that, his accomplices take Rob and his girlfriend away. Buika is left with Tom, who accuses Tom of betrayal. His former friend tells him to feed the man to a tiger. Suddenly, the escaped Danny comes to the rescue. He shoots one of the enemies, and Buika pushes the second one to the tiger. The partners want to help Rob, but realize the forces are too unequal. Scarlet and Rob are being taken somewhere in a van, restrained at the arms by a metal chain. Suddenly, Rob proposes marriage to his beloved. She is happy that her beloved at such a moment thinks about their future together. But will it come? The door of the stopped van is opened by two of Tom's underlings, and they are led through a rocky, deserted area, intending to take their lives where it will be easier to cover their tracks. Rob does his best to encourage Scarlet, smiling at her. Even at gunpoint, he tries to support her, telling her it won't hurt. One of the thugs brutally massacres Rob, but bleeding and gathering his strength, mortally wounded, he lunges forward and knocks down the executioner who is aiming at his beloved. He falls, the weapon shoots, and the bullet hits Scarlet in a tangent. She is lying in the sun with a head injury, and Rob is bleeding because of his wound. Tom's men leave, expecting the wild dogs to do the rest of the work for them. Some time passes, and Scarlet is suddenly awakened by the sound of a low-flying aeroplane. With difficulty, the girl frees herself from her restraints and howls like a wounded wolf over the body of her dead lover. The girl removes the commemorative watch from his hand and makes a tombstone out of rocks, sheltering Rob's remains from predators. Crossed dry branches tied together with rope, she marks the resting place of a lost love. Scarlet wanders through the desert, rubbing her feet on the rocks, and by sunset she reaches the motorway, where she hitches a ride. Back at the empty villa, she takes her valuables and leaves. The girl feels devastated, but doesn't lose her presence of mind. In the car, by an effort of will, she drives away the vision of Rob sitting next to her. Now she will have to rely on herself again. Scarlet remembers Aunt Nellie's words about never giving up and makes an important phone call. She's going to London to see Charlie. The crime queen hosts the guest quite warmly, but emphasizes that only out of respect for Rob's memory. She is not interested in the girl herself, and now Charlie intends to work with the winning side, with Tom. Scarlet begs her to give her a chance to get her own back, and to take revenge on her offenders. Charlie refuses, and then the desperate girl snatches up a gun, pointing it at the hostess. The guards are shocked, but Charlie grinningly approves of the girl's actions, saying that she likes this approach to the case, and gives her a fortnight's deadline for a clash. If the girl manages to eliminate the competitors, avenging Rob's death, then Charlie will work with her. A week later, Scarlet is back in Tenerife, preparing to take revenge on Rob's killers. At the decisive moment, Danny appears, criticizing her plan, or rather its complete absence, and offers his help. The scene from the beginning of the film repeats, and the girl is again in a cheap hotel room, only now it becomes clear who is the victim of the fake Lady of the Night. It is one of Tom's gang members, the very executioner who took the life of Scarlet's beloved man. This time, we see that fate itself helped her to take revenge by sending the bus that ran over the scoundrel. Buika arrives at the scene of the massacre and picks up his friends in a car. Together, they decide to pursue their revenge to the end. Using her old connections and skills as a skillful pickpocket, the enraged girl steps on the heads of her enemies to reach her goal, destroying them one by one in fierce fights. Friends attract loyal people to their side. Scarlet expects to use the remaining valuables to hire mercenaries. The partners banter earnestly with the newcomers, telling horrible tales of a bloodthirsty Duchess who adorns herself with the body parts of mutilated victims. But Tom's men manage to capture Buika and Danny, and he offers the Avenger a deal. their lives in exchange for her life. Scarlet doesn't hesitate to accept. Tom doesn't keep his word, and having got the hated girl, subjects everyone to terrible torment, laughing at the Duchess's stupidity. Her moves are too obvious. Only a fool wouldn't understand them. But the girl doesn't give up, and, overcoming pain, pits the bandits, making her executioner's henchmen doubt their own safety. And at the very moment when Tom and his partner are already holding each other at gunpoint, showering each other with mutual accusations, Scarlet suddenly announces with a smirk that their game is lost. Yes, only a fool like Tom would think she'd make the obvious move. In fact, they are surrounded by mercenaries because the diamonds left by Rob are really the best friends of girls, especially the ones who know how to wait and cunning to get their way. A beautiful hand-to-hand fight between Tom and Scarlet ends the struggle, and the losing villain goes to the bloodthirsty tigress. The friends celebrate the victory with a pool party when Charlie herself calls, quite pleased with the outcome of the fight, and the flighty Duchess suddenly refuses to cooperate, saying that her game is over, and now Baraka will take care of the business, and hangs up. Charlie's shocked. No one's ever put her down like that before. Scarlet packs up and leaves. As she speeds down the motorway, she sees a motorcyclist with a remote control in his hand, catching up with her car. A second. A massive explosion follows, and the car goes up in flames. A terrible end to a brave girl's life. But, is there anything to know for sure with the Duchess? And once again, the audience is treated to a rewind. Take two. Yes, the car burned up, but Scarlet managed to fall on the track a second before the explosion. The hapless mercenary gets what she deserves. It's not for nothing that her friends dubbed her the Duchess, because she's always on top. And at that moment, the film ends. Thank you all for watching this video until the very end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this film. And see you in the next videos.